The job search experience is often perceived as a stressful, life-changing experience, often met with anxiety and fear, doubt, discouragement, rejection, frustration, and burnout. But what if you could approach your job search with faith, confidence, and saw this experience as an opportunity to step into something that you would really love to do? Today, I'm going to invite you and share with you some tools to make your job search experience exactly that. So, I have been doing recruitment for over 20 years. I started off in IT right before the dot-com bust, and I've been placing creative and marketing professionals in some of the biggest agencies and brands in the world. And I will tell you that the job search experience is an opportunity to step into your greatest self as long as you are open to it. And so I want us to challenge some of the beliefs that we hold or that maybe you hold so that we can change our perspective and bring some peace and calm and even some joy and excitement to the job search experience, regardless of how you found yourself in it. So I too have been on the other side. And there were two times in particular that really stand out to me as challenging moments in my career. So, as mentioned, I was an IT recruiter right before the dot-com bust, and I loved my job. I was doing exciting things, I was learning, I felt challenged, I was meeting interesting people. And then overnight, when the dot-com bust happened, I went from loving my job to being challenged to sitting there and really not doing anything. And I was young. I was right out of school. I was hungry. I was driven. And that was not the type of job situation I was looking for. But what that opportunity gave me was the space to reflect on what I really wanted to do. And there was a part of me that wanted to create. And I had been a writer my whole life, and I loved to be able to share ideas and to contribute on a creative level. So that opportunity allowed me the space to ask some questions and to explore what I really wanted to do. And what I ended up doing is I ended up starting to apply for jobs in New York City. I had lived right outside of Washington, D.C. at that point because I grew up in Virginia. I went to school in Virginia. And I wanted to spread my wings. And so I decided to go up to New York City. My lease was up. I had been interviewing. I'd been going up there and interviewing for jobs. And I just went up there. And it opened up this whole new world for me. The second moment that comes to mind is when, fast forward many years, I had had my first child and I got laid off from a job. It was the first time I had gotten laid off. And it was a job that I didn't even want to stay at, but I was working on my exit plan and then I just got laid off. And I had responsibilities. I had mortgages, I had bills to pay, I had a child to take care of, and my husband got laid off shortly after that too. And what I ended up doing was listening to a dream that I had had. And that was an opportunity to start my business. And that brings me to where I am today. So, what are some of the beliefs that we have? The beliefs that you may share, which is very common in today's world, is that we have to have a full-time job with benefits to be secure. So the truth is that even having a full-time job with benefits does not mean that we are secure. And I want to invite you to conceive an idea that is not necessarily spoken about in the professional world. And in order to really lean into security, it comes from a deeper place. And this is a spiritual place and a place of faith. So the truth is that the only place that we can find true security is within having the full, wholehearted belief that we are being taken care of. It's not the job that fills our bank accounts. It's not the job that puts the food on the table. That may be a source, but if that door closes, we are still being taken care of. And if you are doubting this idea, I want to invite you to look back at your life up until now. Look at those moments where you were full of fear. And maybe you were at your last dollar, or maybe you weren't sure how you were going to pay your rent or your mortgage. What happened at that moment? Did something work out? That is proof that you are being taken care of. And so really leaning into faith is what is going to carry you through any moment with peace and confidence. And so I'd like to address some mindset traps that can happen. Right? There are some mindset traps, and maybe you've been thinking these things. So one question that we may hear is, well, what's going to happen if I don't get hired? Or there's so much competition. Or, well, with AI now, my job is being replaced. I'm not needed anymore. Or maybe I'm not qualified to get another job or the job that I want. And so what does this cost us if we lean into our fear? Because the truth is that in order to change our beliefs, and it is very possible to change our beliefs, but in order to change our beliefs, we need to be motivated. And so how are we motivated? We are motivated by understanding what it costs us to stay with our current beliefs. And if we don't understand what it costs us to stay with our current beliefs, then we're not going to be motivated to change, right? Because the truth is that we can tolerate a certain level of stress and pain, but when it becomes so intense, and maybe you're at this moment now, maybe that's why you clicked on this YouTube episode and you're listening in, is that pain is just too much to bear. But the good news is that you are ready to start making some changes with your beliefs so that you can really live in peace, in serenity, which I think within us, we all really want to have that peace of mind. We want to have that sense of security, regardless of what is happening externally of us. And so what is it costing you? And I want to, excuse me, I want to invite you to really explore, to journal, to ask yourself some questions, to carve out some space. And maybe this is exactly why you don't have a job right now. Is because this is an opportunity for you to look within and to start asking these questions and give yourself permission to start honestly answering them. So what is it costing you to live in fear? that if you don't get that job, what is going to happen? What if you lose it all? What is it costing you for staying in a job that doesn't fulfill you or a career that doesn't fulfill you? What is it costing you to not go for that dream that keeps calling you in the middle of the night, or maybe at that moments when you were at that last job? What is it costing you to not go for it? So when we live in fear, we may experience sleepless nights. We may experience self-doubt. We may experience desperate actions. We may experience burnout. I know when I'm experiencing fear, I may lash out at those I love the most. And that doesn't feel good for me because that's not the kind of environment I want to create for myself or those that I love. And so the truth is that you attract what you believe, because our mind is so vast. Our mind is like a glacier. And the part that we are conscious of is only a small part. There's this deeper subconscious part of our mind that is driving us each day. It's driving the opportunities we notice or don't notice. It's driving the meaning we're giving to each experience that we are confronted with. It's driving the actions that we're taking or not taking. It's driving our thoughts. It's driving our feelings. And I want to ask you, what thoughts or fears have been running your job search experience so far? And how is that creating your job search experience? So many of the times people go to external sources to find clarity and guidance. And it is very important to have a support system when you are looking to uplevel your life. But the type of support system that you put in place is going to determine whether you're setting yourself up for success or you're setting yourself up for being stuck and feeling frustrated. So when you're putting together a structure of support, it's really important to find people who believe in your dream. They believe that the power breathing you is greater than any circumstance, situation, or condition you find yourself in. Just because you have been laid off or you left your job for whatever reason, and you're finding yourself in a situation where you're applying for jobs, or maybe you're just not even motivated to apply for jobs, but you have this dream and it's something that lights you up. You want to put in a structure of support that believes that you can do it. Regardless of how much money you have in your bank account, regardless of how much experience, regardless of any of that, that if you are dreaming it, that you can do it. And then you want that structure of support to be a sounding board for listening to the internal guide within you, your intuition. Because nobody knows what you should do except for you. Nobody knows what you should do except for you. You have a power within you that is greater than anything outside of you. And when I'm talking about anything outside of you, I'm talking about the amount in your bank account, your history, where you came from, your experience so far. Anything that is a situation, circumstance, or condition that you have found yourself up until now. And so I would love to give you some tools that you can really start tuning in to your intuition. So we all have intuition. It just depends on the level that we have developed having a relationship with our intuition. But we all have the potential and the capacity to tune into our intuition. And our intuition is different than our logic. So there's two things that can guide us. There's our intuition, which guides us on a spiritual level. Then there's our logic. So we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. And we are taught in our society most of the time to lean on our 5 senses and our logic to navigate our human experience. But the truth is that we have 6 faculties that can guide us on a deeper and more expansive level. And so these are memory, will, intuition, perception, imagination, and reason. And these are more powerful than even our 5 senses. It's just that we haven't been taught to continue to build and refine these 6 mental faculties that we can really lean into, these faculties. Okay. But if you look at a child who has so much energy and is so alive, right? It's like as adults are always like, where did these kids get this energy? They got this energy because they're so much more aligned with their spirit. They're leaning into their imagination. Their imagination is going wild. And the truth is that we all still have our imagination. It just hasn't been utilized to the point that it can be. If we don't nurture something and feed something, it's not going to thrive. And so I want you today, we're not going to lean into all of these with the time that we have today, but I want to invite you to lean into your memory and your imagination. And I want to invite you to pull out that journal. And underneath those questions that you've answered of how your current beliefs are no longer serving you, so that you can really experience the pain and get motivated to change, I then want to invite you to write out a beautiful vision for the job that you would love, or the business that you would love, the vocational time and money experience that you would love to invite into your life. And so lean into imagination and just imagine it. Think big and then think even bigger. Let your imagination go wild. And I want to invite you to lean into memory, because memory can serve us because we know what the beach smells like. We know what a soft pillow feels like. And this is how we really bring feeling tone to this vision. is if we imagine that we're working in a certain environment, we're having a conversation, we can then feel how it feels to be grateful, to feel abundant, to feel joyful, to feel laughter, to be enjoying our experience, to be having fun, to be feeling fulfilled. We really want to bring feeling tone into this vision, and we want to write it as if it's happening now. And I invite you to push this vision out to 3 years from today. And to start with, I am so happy and grateful now that. Write out your vision of what you would absolutely love in present tense. And then at the end, write this or something even greater still. Get really crystal clear on what you would love. And then as you are going through each day, I invite you to continuously revisit this vision because you're going to start getting ideas of actions to take. And those are the actions that I invite you to take. These ideas are coming from a deeper place. And sometimes they don't even make logical sense, but I want you to take them anyways, especially if when you hear that idea, you feel expansive and you feel like you light up. And then as you're taking action, I want to forewarn you that those doubts and those fears are going to come up. And they come up because they're not aligned with the vision that you hold. Okay. So fear comes up because fear is essentially telling you that you're at the border of the life that you've known. And so if you feel fear, that's good news because it's telling you you're doing something that you haven't done before. And then those doubts, those worries, those are coming in, especially the doubts, because it's your mind's job is to keep you in the status quo because it wants to keep you safe. It can't tell the difference between you going for a dream and you applying for a new job or going and speaking in front of 800 people or even 10 people if you've never done that before. So fear comes up and doubts come up to keep you in your status quo, in your safety zone. But we're turning up the dial. Because when you expand and you step out of your comfort zone, that's when you get to live a life that you love. So those doubts are just telling you that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. That fear is just telling you that you're at that border of the life you've known up until now. And you're doing something big. And that's the good news. So even when those doubts come up, just keep going, keep taking action, keep moving forward. All right, so I'm going to give you some tools to navigate your job search in a place of faith, peace, and calm. So just like physical muscles, spiritual muscles strengthen with practice. So up until now, maybe your go-to place was fear, anxiety, worry. But I'm inviting you to go to the gym of faith and peace and calm and start practicing those reps. And so as you're taking action, anytime those doubts and that fear come in, I want you to say, not today, and put your focus on the vision. And take an action step, even if you're feeling fear. And you can say some affirmations. Instead of thinking, oh my gosh, what if I don't get a job? What if I can't pay rent? Think, the perfect opportunity is seeking me right now. The perfect opportunity is seeking me right now. Another affirmation you can say is, this is simply how it looks as it's all coming together. This is simply how it looks as it's all coming together. If you are experiencing anxiety, I invite you to do a breathing technique. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw. And do that at least 3 times. And repeat the saying, the affirmation, I am safe. I am being guided. I trust my journey is unfolding exactly how it's supposed to unfold so that I can live a life I absolutely love. So that I can live a life I absolutely love. You deserve to live a life that you absolutely love. You deserve to put your time and your energy into a job or start that business that is calling you. If you have enjoyed the episode today, I invite you to subscribe because I don't want you to miss out on any episodes that are coming your way. And if you like this episode, if you found it to be helpful, go ahead and like it and share it with a friend because we're all in this human experience together. And even though your experience may not be like other people's, there's probably more similarities that other people are experiencing than you even realize. And if you have any questions or comments, please be sure to put them in the comment section below. Well, it's been a pleasure to serve you today. Thank you so much for attending this. And I want to remind you that you can do it. You can live a life that you absolutely love. I believe in you.